Everybody, it's Valerie. How are you today? I hope you are having a fantastic day. I am having a good day. We are going to use two stamp sets today for the card that I'm going to be making, or I guess I'm going to be using. You get to watch, and then if you want to make it later, you totally can. I'm going to use the Healing Hug stamp set, and we're just going to use these two leaf images. We've got a little nature theme going on today, and I wanted to add these leaves in. So I grabbed this stamp set, and then Rooted in Nature is a fantastic stamp set, and you get two cases because there are so many stamps that are in this stamp set. It's fantastic. I'm gonna pull my video up here and share it with my group so they can join in as well. There we go, got it. So if you're on, say hi so I know you're here. I'm sharing to a group. I know I talk out loud while I'm doing this, but it helps. It helps sometimes with the technical stuff. So from this stamp set, we're going to use this sentiment, the Be Strong, Be Happy, Be You, and we're going to use these two leaves and then just this single leaf here. I mean, everything is fantastic in this stamp set, but I don't need all of these pieces. So we're going to start with a Post-it note. We're going to do some masking today, which is one of my favorite techniques to do. I've done it before, but this one's a little bit different than what I've done before. I've seen it done, but I just haven't. Oh, okay, hang on, Linda. Let me turn the volume up on my phone. Let me see if that helps. All right, can you hear me better now, Linda? I'm talking normal. I don't want to yell. Hi, Christine. Hi, Ingrid. And hi, Linda. Thank you for letting me know it was down low. Go ahead and just stick a Post-it note to just a scrap piece of Whisper White because we're just going to punch this out. And the reason I'm not just punching the Post-it note is because of the stickiness on the back of it. I don't want that to get adhesive on the inside of my punch, and I don't want it to not stick or just stick in there and not be able to get it out, basically is what I'm saying. So stick it to a piece of Whisper White. It makes it a little bit thicker. So you gotta really use your muscles to punch that out. You still got a scrap piece you can use for other items. And then you have a nice little Whisper White circle that you can use for something else. We're not using it for this card. And we're gonna take another piece of Whisper White that we're going to stamp on. We're going to take this circle and stick it on here because we are going to stamp kind of on it and around it to make a beautiful nature wreath. Now, it's not stuck all the way down, but you've got that one edge. So that's pretty much all you really need. So we're gonna start with our darkest color, which is Garden Green. We're gonna use 4 different greens for this. My favorite color, green. So I figured let's do something nature inspired today. Since we're all stuck in the house wanting to get out, let's pretend we are. Now you can do these any way you want, as close or a little further away from the circle if you want. You don't have to stamp it right on the circle. You can kind of stamp out if you want to, but I'm gonna, for the most part, stamp a little bit of each leaf onto the circle. So that's our darkest color. And then I'm going to go to the second darkest. I'm going to go from darkest to lightest, obviously. Now that you see my actions, we're going to go with Old Olive next. I'm going to use this single leaf. This one and the first leaf are both from the Rooted in Nature. And now these don't have to be perfect. They don't have to all go in the same. Unless you want it super symmetrical, then go for it. You can do it however you want. I kind of want a little more at the bottom there. And because we're going to be doing some other leaves, we don't have to have them all. It doesn't have to be completely filled in yet. Hi Donna, how are you? Thanks for joining. Next we'll go with Pear Pizzazz. This is actually one of my favorite greens in the Stampin' Up! Green collection, as I'll call it. I just love it. It's dark, but it's still vibrant. just kind of throw them around there. So you got lots of tones. And if you go off the card a little bit like that, it doesn't matter. That's okay. No big deal. It kind of adds to the charm. Now these two leaves, I'm going to do both. If I don't move that on the right hand side, you know my hand will be in it. I'm going to use soft sea foam. This is a really light color, so it's not going to show up as much, but I can kind of put this one out just a little bit, and it adds just a little bit extra and a little bit softer color around. And then I did this one earlier on my first card that I made with this, but I actually think I'm going to take it and instead I'm going to put it back in that garden green because it is longer. Let's see. Yeah, I love how that looks. And because it's a little bit longer, just to kind of poke out a little more and you can see it a little better. Kind of like how that's looking. Has anyone tried this technique, like kind of making a wreath like this? This is my first time doing it other than the practice that I did earlier. And now I think I'm done with all these greens. I think I like how this has turned out. Unless maybe I should let's put one right here, one of these leaves right here. So it just pokes down just a little bit further, just to kind of fill in a little bit more because I went just above center on this piece of cardstock with that circle. Now I have done other masking techniques, but I haven't done this where I've made a wreath. But I really, really love how this has turned out. It's really pretty. When I take that piece off, you're gonna be like, whoa, that's gorgeous. Because it just works out perfectly. I mean, how pretty is that? I think this would be fantastic to use at Christmas time, and then you could add just some little red rhinestones or something in it to make like a Christmas wreath. It would be super easy to do. All right, so I'm gonna put the sentiment in, and I told you we chose the Be Strong, Be Happy, Be You. Just gonna make sure it's stamping okay on my little scrap paper first. I'm gonna stand up just to make sure I get it right as close to the center as possible. Perfect. And I decided to go with the black because I think it just kind of helps it stand out a little bit. Now that we have that done, we're just gonna take a piece of Whisper White cardstock, fold that in half. I already have it cut to whatever your dimensions are gonna be. This is 5.5, and then it was 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Flip this over and go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of it because we are going to raise it up just a little bit. Make sure they're stuck down good before you try to take those backings off because you know how they pop off on you. So is anyone having anything yummy for dinner tonight? I actually made a recipe, well, I made it for lunch/dinner. I made it last week or the week before, and I found it on Pinterest, and it is called salsa fresca chicken. And then I've just been eating it over, that's what I ate it over rice. It is so good. You basically just make a pico de gallo, and then you dice up your chicken and bake it on that, and then with some mozzarella cheese, because you know cheese is good with everything. Cheese goes with everything. So that is what I'm having for dinner, is leftover, because like I said, I made it for lunch. All right, I'm going to take some linen thread, and I'm going to take some old olive thread, and I am going to make what I call a faux messy bow, because it's not really a bow, and it's kind of messy when I get done. So I just wrap it 3 or 4 times around my fingers, 3 fingers usually, and I try not to spread them out too far because then you end up with just a big mess. cut it off so you have a few inches for a tail. Wrap it around, kind of grab it with my middle finger there. Slide this through that little loop that you just made. Well, now I'm making a mess because I'm not holding this tight enough. Let me wrap this around first. Wrap it around a couple times first, then make your little loop. Even made making the loop easier, right? And then just slide your two, just slide those two pieces right through there. I should have left my tail a little bit longer. All right, just slide those through there and pull it tight. And then once you've done that, just take these two pieces of the tail, go one on one side, one on the other side, and then come around and just tie it in a knot. If you can hold it still. Oh my goodness. Hi Diana, how are you? Thanks for joining. And I like to tie it a couple of times just to make sure it stays, because we're gonna be kind of pulling on these and we don't want it to not stay. And even if you flip it back around to the other side and tie it again, that's perfect. And then I just cut these off. I don't even leave these little ends on there. Just snip them right off. And then holding it in the middle, like I'll just take one old olive end and pull it, and then on this side take one of the linen pieces and pull it, and then do the opposite on this side, take a linen piece, try not to pull it all the way out like I just did, take an old olive piece on this side, and just kind of go back and forth and play with it and pull the pieces until you get it the way you want it. That pulled really far, but that's okay. We're gonna leave it. It's just a super messy, actually that's kind of ridiculous. We're gonna cut that. We're just gonna cut that piece off because we're gonna have a little end sticking out on this side anyway. All right, once you have it the way you want it, go ahead and grab your glue dots. And sometimes with these larger pieces, I go ahead and use more than one glue dot just to make sure it's stuck good. Kind of stick it on there so you got a couple on the back. Now I don't want to stick it on there yet because I want to take the sprig punch and just add a couple of sprigs. And I'm going to do those. I'm going to do a little bit of vellum, probably just true vellum. And I'm going to kind of go right and left, kind of the way the bow is going. When I was playing around with it earlier, when I made the first card, I kind of tried to do them down, and it was just too much, and it was hiding too much of the beautiful color. So I'm just going to do one to the right and one to the left in vellum. And then I'm going to punch just one of each soft seafoam. And then I'm going to do one in pear pizzazz. This is one of my favorite punches, especially when I'm trying to do something like this with a lot of little layers and trying to add just some fun little nature-y inspired things. I just love how this looks. So just cut these two in half. And put your two left sides together and your two right sides together. And then we're going to do the same. We're going to give them each a glue dot. We're going to add one on the right, or two on the right, one of each color on each side. And then do the same with the ones that were from the left side of the punch. Those are going to go on the left. And I'm just going to kind of do them opposite. I'm going to do pear pizzazz and then soft seafoam, and then this side will do pear pizzazz at the top and soft seafoam at the bottom. I know it might be a little hard to see with all the green colors in there, but I'll hold it up in just a second so you can kind of see what I did. So I just kind of went right to left with those little pieces, and then now we can take our messy little bow, and it's so uneven. We're going to stick it down. Once we stick it down, I might be able to pull a couple of pieces this way just a little bit. So it's stuck now. That's fine. good enough. I love, actually, the messier the better with these little faux messy bows that I make. I think they turn out cute. That one's a little long. We'll cut that little piece off. But I love how it just adds a little bit of texture to the card, but you've still got that gorgeous wreath behind. Now, you could do this without adding the bow and extra thing, and it would be perfect. Just a super beautiful, simple stamping card as well if you just did just the wreath behind it. But I kind of like how it looks with that little bit of extra on the bottom. It just adds something to it. So I hope you enjoyed today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. I truly appreciate you joining me. I hope if you need supplies, you head on over to my store at valeriesmith.stampinup.net and just click shop now. I have a host code for this month. If your order is under 150, use that host code. If your order is 150 or over, you do not need a host code because you are going to earn your own hostess benefits. I'm looking at some of your comments. Thank you, Judy and Christine. And yes, Judy, that it would be fantastic with snowflakes. You're right. I maybe have to bring it up a notch when Christmas cards start coming around and do it with snowflakes. That would be gorgeous. Thank you for the tip. Thank you, Linda. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for joining me for One Card Wonder Wednesday. I should have a box here at the latest Friday, and so I will do a video with my unboxing and show you all the stuff from the new catalog that I ordered. So I hope you will join me for that. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you next time. Bye.